Welcome back to the Adventure Rich channel, and today we are in Puerto Amureas with a friend of mine called another Richard who's learning to surf, and a family from Bokete that is from South Africa, and they moved here I think during the pandemic or just before the pandemic, and they have not been to the beaches yet, so I decided to let them come with us today. We're hunting for waves, but today is not about that. We are very close to Costa Rica, and I want to tell you about some footage that I did back in November for a TV show called Bear Paradise. And today is about that. Seeing that we're that close to Costa Rica, let's bring that footage to you and show you what the behind the scenes of capturing that footage was like. So, let's go to Costa Rica. Pura vida, mai. This adventure was made possible by Copa Airlines, Bear Paradise TV, who I'm recording this entire trip for, and none other than the local boy himself, Mr. Yannick Pilgrim, who has an adventure tour company called Local Boy Adventures there in Costa Rica. I also recorded with my friend Miguel from Trinidad and Tobago, so it was a group of Trinis doing this adventure. We landed in the capital of San Jose but did not stay long. We checked out a couple daytime city things and also a bit of nightlife. We met up with Miguel's cousin who lives there and checked out a couple good things to eat, an art district which was beautiful. We got some drinks, turned in for the night, and then the following morning we packed up, got our gear ready, and headed for the mountains of Bajos del Toro. A lot about the mountains here reminded me of Bokete in the rainy season. Just a lot of mist, a lot of mystery, and just very wet but beautiful. We made our way to our first destination with another friend, a place called Posa Celestis. We loved the company of the doggies. They were more the star of the show than anything in this first trip that we made. I had seen pictures of this place and I wondered if it was edited until I saw it myself. The fact that there was no sunlight on it and the blues were so rich, I had no editing to do to this footage that you're looking at. It was absolutely amazing. We did not stay long as we had to take off for another destination, a wonderful waterfall. The hike to get there was not too bad, and the reward was way worth the trek. After leaving that location, we went further downstream where we were able to find some very beautiful pools. The water was so pristine that we had to take a dip, but it was so cold that I did not stay very long in there at all. I did not even get my entire body submerged. After that dip, we hiked out to a place that took what felt like an eternity to get up to the top. But then we landed the shot that we all agreed was our favorite for the entire trip so far. It was then time to base at the hotel we'd be staying at in La Fortuna. The boys wanted to do some hot springs time, but I hate hot water, so I enjoyed a non-alcoholic beverage and reviewed the footage from the day. After a full day like that, it didn't take very long for Miguel and Mr. Local Boy himself to knock out, ready for the next day. The following day, we wanted to see Volcan Arenal, but the weather had different plans for us. It was too cloudy and the entire volcano was covered. So, we headed to the La Fortuna waterfall, which would have been the largest waterfall we would see for the entire trip. There were some very cool animals and hanging bridges on the way there, and some huge trees. But then the rain started to come. The closer we got, the heavier the downpour, and soon we had to pack up the main gear and just use GoPros and phones. Before we knew it, the trail that we had been walking on became a stream. It really felt like a monsoon had hit us. But then when we saw the waterfall, it was just so worth the trek in wet shoes. On the way back out, we visited a tribe and learned about their special greeting, their customs and their culture. Their art pieces were absolutely amazing too, so full of energy and vibrancy. That's where I got my beads! 2 days of adventure so far had taken a toll on us. We just relaxed for the rest of the day and got ready to head to Santa Teresa the following day. The following morning, we were meted and greeted by the clarity of the volcano. No more clouds. We took advantage of the opportunity to film it and then took off to the coast. We had a long drive ahead of us and we had to take a ferry over a wide gap of water to get to mainland again, and then drive some more to get to the beach of Santa Teresa. Once we got to the other side, Local Boy recommended that we visit this wildlife reserve called Kuru and see how lucky we were to spot some animals and just enjoy the complete serenity of the place. We were lucky after all to see quite a different number of species of animals, and I had never been this close to a deer before. He wasn't even bothered by me as I ran the camera very close to him. We walked through this pretty spooky looking swamp where I expected an alligator or crocodile to pop up at any second. But the diversity of the trees that we saw there were amazing, from mangroves to coconut trees. It was a stop well worth it, but we still had a very long drive to get to the Airbnb we would be staying that night. The Airbnb we stayed was a friend of Yannick's. It's actually a pretty cool Airbnb that wasn't finished when you were there, but I'm sure it's finished by now. So be sure to check it out when you get to Costa Rica and you're heading over to the Santa Teresa Montezuma area. It felt like it was in the middle of nowhere, but it was just the right amount of seclusion. Super cozy place to be. I settled down for the night with the doggy and anticipated my favorite part of the trip, where I get to surf. Finally getting to see Santa Teresa. Santa Teresa reminded me of Playa Banao. It's known for its good waves, friendly people and friendly animals. It's also known for great restaurants and just an all-around good vibe. Miguel and I took our first surf session for the trip, and we got it out of our systems so that we can continue to explore this beautiful place. Took off to this secluded beach where we felt like we had the entire thing to ourselves, and we even met a couple of new friends there.
Welcome to Costa Rica.
after taking in all the beauty that that beach had to offer, we headed over to Playa Hermosa for another surf session. We then got to our final major daytime activity that Miguel had been anticipating the most. We did some ATV quad action and it was super fun. It was time to check out some nightlife. We actually got to a couple of restaurants, had some food. There was a particularly nice restaurant that I enjoyed the ambience, where they converted an Airstream trailer into a food place. After stuffing our faces, we ended up meeting another Trinidadian who was there for a surf trip and checked out something called Reggae Night, where I was actually very surprised to hear music from back home in Trinidad. We even had an adventure going home where our car broke down in pouring rain and we still had maybe 30 minutes to drive. But that's a story for another time. And we're back in Boquete now. Had a really good surf session and pretty much that wraps up the entire Costa Rican trip that we had. Well, a summarized version of it. Special thanks to Beer Paradise, Copa Airlines and Mr. Local Boy himself, Yannick. Thank you so much, bro. You were an incredible host and thank you for all your help. And we will be back soon because we could not possibly see all of Costa Rica in that one day. So we will be seeing you soon again. Be sure to like the video, folks, please. It helps the algorithm, and subscribe if this is the kind of content you're into. Until the next video, which should be coming pretty soon, let's do this.